Hey guys, and welcome to my video where I'm gonna demonstrate how to utilize the database and bring that data from your database into your application. So this is just going to be a coding example. So I'm just going to kind of run through this, and I may say some stuff that's important. If you want to follow along, that's great. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is what our application looks like so far. So here you can see that this is like all fake data. Like this one here is fake. This money amount is fake. This is all fake. This is all fake. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to bring the data from the database in. And if we connect here to our database, you can see that our orders table here has like some orders in it. We got some order services, some services attached to the orders. So yeah, we're just going to bring that stuff in. So first things first, we have to go into our web config, and we need to add some app settings. Now what app settings is it's a place where you can store like all of your constant settings, such as for instance, what we're going to use it for is for a connection string. So we got to do app settings. So you got to go right under this configuration. Just start typing app settings and it'll automatically pop up. And now type add. So we want to add a new app setting here. We're going to call it, we're going to call it con string for connection string. And the value of that is going to be, so I have that pulled up. So so I just searched MySQL connection on Google, connection string, and we're just going to take the standard one, and we're going to plug that in here. So what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to not have to repeat, copy and paste this string over and over and over to all of our connection strings, to all of our database connections. In case we ever decide to switch databases, it'll just be in one spot. So server, so let's see, the server that I'm using is called remote MySQL, and like it's the same thing that you use to connect, for your connection here. So host name is server. So I'm going to replace that. The database, for my case, I know that like my database is the same name as my username, but if not, if you go to phpMyAdmin, it'll tell you right here your database name, where it's right here. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to plug that in here, and I know that it's the same thing as my username, but it's right here. This is the username for my database, and then the password is this. So now that we have our web config all set up, I'm just going to go directly into my orders DAL class. So just right here, like I could pick any one of these, doesn't matter. I'm going to start with orders though. And I'm going to go ahead and start modifying these functions. So yeah, so I'm going to start creating a the SQL connection for this function, and then I'm going to make the command. So so make sure that you do MySQL connection here. So everything here is MySQL. Nothing here is SQL connection. If it was just SQL connection like this, that would resemble the connection for like Microsoft server databases like T-SQL. But since we're using MySQL, we're going to do MySQL connection con equals new MySQL connection. So we're going to go ahead here and we're going to install. So here we can install two packages. It's allowing us to install two packages, but we're just going to install the MySQL.data. That's the one that you want. So I'm going to do find and install the latest version. And this may take it some time or be super quick. Cool. So now we're creating a new connection, but we need to give this a connection string. So we will use web configuration manager, and then alt enter to bring this window up, and then using, and then dot app settings. And then what did we name it on our web config? We named it constring. It's new app setting. Cool. So we're going to start and grab the data from our database. First we make the connection. Now we got to make, so actually let's make the query first. So string SQL equals, let's do a select all from orders. Now using, and we're using that way it disposes of the objects for us after we're done. MySQL, and again, make sure it's MySQL. This time we want to do a command. We'll name a command equals a new MySQL command. And here we're going to say, here you can see that it's giving us options. So we're going to use the command text as our SQL query. And we're going to use the MySQL connection. We're going to pass that through. And here we're going to want to do a try-catch block. We don't have exception logging right now, so let's just do console.writeLine just so we don't lose it. And here what we're going to do is just execute our command. So let's do that. So but first we have to open up our connection to the database in this function. So now that it's open, now we need to execute this. So the way that you do that is using MySQL data reader. And then we'll just call this reader equals, and then command.execute reader. So this is saying that the command will execute the SQL query and dump the results into this reader. So here we'll just want to, here we'll do a list order. We'll call it orders. Here we'll return, instead of returning that static one, we'll return this list. And then here we'll want to populate this list of orders. So orders.add new order. So I just hit Control space to bring this pop-up menu up, and then I'm just going to hit Tab and just going to go through all these. Do we have in here in this orders table the person that ordered it? No, we don't. So actually, let's add ordered by. This will be maybe belongs here. No, it's to be int. Let's do int. Um, so let's do that, and then we'll update all of them. Update orders set ordered by to equal 1. And of course, orders. It will always get me. Okay. And now let's make it not null. Well, let's do foreign keys here. Foreign key orders ordered by reference table. Let's do users. Ordered by is going to reference the ID. Okay. So we just added a foreign key to it. Okay. All right. Cool. So now let's go here to our object. Let's do a public user ordered by get set. Okay, anyway, so the customer name, we're going to do reader. So actually here, we want to do, so after we execute this, we want to do if reader. First, we want to make sure that the results that we got back, if there's rows. If there are, then we want to do while reader.read. Has rows. While reader.read. So now, while it's reading and traversing through the table, so essentially like it's going to go, through here like by itself. It's going to go through each row one by one. So while it's traversing through these rows in this while loop, we want to do orders.add new order now customer name equals reader. And we want to use get string. So there's a whole bunch of options here. There's get string, get int, get decimal. There's everything that you could use here. So it's the reader.get string and customer name. So what this is this right here is a column name of our actual table. So customer name is here. Actually, we want to do So now comma tab reader dot get int 64. Or do we make ID long? Okay. We're gonna do here ID. Oh. So control space, tab. So we're not gonna fill this in right now. Paid amount, reader, get decimal. Service state, reader dot get date time, service date. And the reason why we're not going to get ordered by and services is because these are like custom objects, and we're going to populate this in the business logic layer. So right now, all we want to do is just get the data from the order. So, okay. So this will now, so we have officially replaced our static from returning us the static data here to returning data from the order. So let's see how this runs. All right, put in our data here. Value cannot be null. That's right, because it is creating the order without services. So here what we want to do is we'll do something like this. So services equals null, then return 0. Otherwise, return the sum. This M is for decimal, to return a decimal. We should be good now. Let's see if that fails anywhere else. Yep, right here. So what we can do is we can just, go into a data access layer right now and just fill it up, but we'll just do this for now. That might be the only spot left. All right, well, let's then fill up the services. Okay, so we are getting this from our data access layer, and it's being passed up all the way to our repository and then to our business logic layer. So in our business logic layer, wherever we're calling this get service method, so it's going to be the same in the repository, the same name in the repository and in here. So get orders. So wherever we're calling this in the business logic layer, so right here, we'll want to do return get orders, and then what we'll actually want to do here is create a list of orders equals for order repository dot get orders. And now for all of these orders, we'll want to get a list of services. So let's go here and let's just create a let's create another guy here, public static list service get services, and then a list long service IDs. And then here we will want to return. So here we'll want to do list service services equals new. Um, configuration manager. Using SQL command. You know what? Let's do this order IDs. Order IDs. So select all from services. So SQL connection. Just finish this off real quick. Okay, so select all from services. Inner join order services. This is going to be table A. This is going to be table B. Inner join order services on A dot ID equals B dot service ID, where B dot order ID in, let's replace this with order IDs. So since this is a list, I'm not going to parameterize it. If this was a list that's coming from a user's input, then you should parameterize it, and you would write a for loop probably to parameterize it. And then like have a list here that you replace with parameters. So, but since this is coming from the application, I'm not going to parameterize it, and it's a list. So, but even if it was coming from the application, you should parameterize it. But only reason I'm not is because it's a list. Now let's do a try here. Do we have? I was pretty sure I did. Okay. So we didn't actually have to Just add a class. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Maybe read only static. Yep. Okay. Okay. So here we want to do command. We want to open the connection. You know, we want to start getting the services and reading them. Let's create another object. Yeah. We'll just do this for now. Public long. What ID? Public. Okay. Let's change this to return a list of order services. The object that we just created. Let's change this to get order services. Passes in a list of order IDs. Okay, so now using MySQL data reader, this reader equals new. Puts command to execute reader. So if the reader has rows, then while it's reading, we want to services, let's rename this, order services dot add new order service. Why is this? Whatever. ID equals reader dot get string ID. Order ID equals reader dot get should this just return? No, this is fine. It's more optimized. Order ID get int 64 and then this order ID because of this right here, and then the rest belongs to services. Let's just run this without the where clause just to see what we're going to get back. So we're getting the ID of the service. Yeah, we're getting the ID of the service. We actually don't need service. We don't need this. So equals new list of services. Okay, so this is going to edit. The only problem is we don't want to add a new order service for every time, order services for every time that another service pops up for the same order, because we don't want to keep creating these. So what we're going to do is if so order we might be able to use group by. So yeah, actually we can use group by. So let's okay. Yep. And then we will return this. And so now SQL dot equals SQL dot replace. Now we want to replace this with the order IDs. Okay. So now, since we created a new function, we gotta add this to our repository, set it to our interface. This returns a list of order services and long order IDs. Now we want to go into our business logic layer. We want to select the IDs to list it. So what this is going to do is it's going to we're going to get all the order services for these orders that we just got. And we're doing this link query here to just within our orders object, we're going to get the ID from the list. And now we need to assign the services to the proper orders. So I believe this starts out as null. Yeah. Okay. So if we'll do orders that just for each, all the services for each order services OS in order services for each one. Select the one where OS stats, they're both the same. Default services equals OS dot services dot add OS dot service. Here we'll do a quick check. So this will create a new list if it's null before we add it. And then Here we will do return orders. All right, let's see. See if that works. And here you go. You can see the orders are 3. So let's see what's actually utilizing this. So let's go to our dashboard. We have a lot of files open. So here we're in the dashboard. What is utilizing order BLL? And then dots get orders. So the view state is using it. What's using it? So the order details grid. So this is using it. All this data is being loaded up from the database. Here you can see that the service date is 6/17. So let's just go here real quick into our database. Let's just change this up. So the service date is, does it say order date? Oh no, service date, good. Let's do, I don't know, 6/18 for this order. Apply. Let's refresh the page. And here you can see that it changed. So you can, this is how you can tell that it's actually pulling it from the database. Money collected, let's say, let's make sure that works. Let's say that they paid $5 for this order. Let's go back to our page. Refresh. That's not working. All right, so let's dive in and see why. That should be because it's creating it when the order is created. When the order object is created, it defines the value. And then it doesn't set it again. So let's see. Oh, it's because, wait. Money collected. Let's see what this BLL is doing. Okay, so this is calling order repository, get orders, which is fine. It's pulling in order data. Let's put a breakpoint there and just see. Okay, 11, 12. Let's give it to me. All right, so let's see. Total is 0. Paid amount. Okay, yeah. Paid amount here is 5. I forgot what total means. Oh, I should be calculating the paid amount instead of total. But we still have an issue with total. Oh, actually no, because it's null. Services is null. That's why it's like that. Yeah, so that's it. So total just means the total for the services. That's not actually the money that we collected. So Now that we know what it is, paid amount. That. Take the breakpoint off. I know it's gonna work. There we go. $5. Reorders. And let's just do. Now that we coded this, we really got a lot out of that. So order repository. Get order count. Get order count of what? Completed orders. Get completed orders to count. Okay, so get order counts as a total order. So what we can do here, we can either ask a database for that data of order count, or we can this is fine now. Get completed orders. So here we'll do this query here. So actually we can just do all these in here. Count. Let's just fix this. So get order count. So here what we're just going to do is something like this. Select count star from orders. It's going to return us the number 3. So select count star from orders. Long count equals 0. Return count. If reader that has rows. Here, let's execute scalar. What do you want? All right. So what scalar does is if you're requesting a, one row, one column, scalar will get it, and it's more efficient to use scalar than to use SQL data reader. So I think I have to do object O equals command that execute scalar. But here, just do count. We'll convert this to long. And that should get us the order count. So now actually let's go to the BLL. Yeah, let's try to use the database. Get order count. Okay. So now back to completed orders. Let's fix that up. Get completed orders. So this is going to return us a list of orders. Let's leave that there for now because I'm going to need that. Where service date, get a list of orders where service date is less than now. Okay. So now that's what this is going to do. Now let's go to our BLL. Same thing here. Honestly, we can probably create a helper function to do this because we're going to be copying and pasting this a lot. Where should I stick it? No, let's just do this. And then here, get completed orders. Well, same thing here. It's going to go and get all the services. And actually, yeah, no, let's do that. Private. Associate services with orders. List of orders. The less code you have to copy and paste, the better. So now we need to pass this list of orders into this function. So, there we go. Now let's go back up here. All right, less code. Okay, so now this is working because all the logic is if the service state is before today's date, then it's considered complete. And so then that means that there's 3 of them. So let's change one of them to, like, I don't know, tomorrow. Let's change it to the 25th. Apply, finish. Now we should see 2 there. 2. Because of this guy. And like if we go to the service, so right now you see that this is this one is right here, clean up. Or actually, let's change mowing to $20. You'll see here that this is going to change to 20, and this will change to 120. So select all from services. Change mowing, $20. refresh, and here you see 20 and 120. So, yep. Why is this 0? Oh, it's because the order that we paid $5 to, that it was this one and it's no longer completed, so we technically didn't collect it yet. Okay. Yeah, so I'll show you guys how to create how to insert into the database. So let's go back to our order BLL here. So to create our order, we want to pass in order. Let's go to our, no, it's not in our dashboard. It is order services. So here we want to create ordered by, and then we'll do user session of session. Okay, it is user session of user. And it's this user. It's a user that's logged in is the one that's placing this order. Okay. Right. I don't even think I need this cast. I do. So now I'm telling it, okay, this is the user that's logged in is the user that's placing the order, obviously. Let's go order BLL. So we don't actually need to get, we're just inserting, we don't need to get this services. So what we'll want to do here, let's just delete all this. What we'll want to do here is first create the order. So save the order. We turn off for now, just so that it's not red. So yeah, so first we'll want to create the order. I guess, I guess we can do this. Order. Okay. Order. So we'll create the order. And what this is gonna do is nothing so far. So what it's gonna do, can we get rid of this? Yes, we can. Since we are doing our last function here that will create. Okay. So this will create our order, and so yeah, so let's get started. So in order to create our order, let's go ahead. Just copy this to avoid a lot of copying and pasting. So we're gonna insert into orders. So again, this is like a regular, SQL query. Insert into orders. Let's see what my columns here are. Customer name, service date, paid amount, and then ordered by. And then values, customer name. And now notice that because this is all things that are inputted by the user, so we want to parameterize all this. So in order to do that, I'm putting this @ symbol in front of my values. Service date. Because you don't ever want to trust data that's coming from the user. Paid amount, ordered by. And again, like I said before, even if it's not coming from the user, it's a good idea to parameterize everything. We don't need this using statement. What we do need though is, let's just return all for now. What we need to do here is command that parameters with value. So now I got to supply the parameter name, which is the one with the @ and customer name. So this, this right here. Customer name, comma, and then order dot, and then I want to give it what its value is going to be. So customer name. Now I'm going to do the same thing here for service date. I think we got 2 more, right? Paid amount and ordered by. Service date, paid amount, ordered by. So now that we bound all of our parameters, we want to execute. I wonder if there is a way to get the ID that we just inserted, I think. So in T-SQL, it's output inserted ID. MySQL, how to output inserted ID. Okay. Select last insert ID. And then we will put that there. So I added a semicolon here. And now that way when it executes this, I can get that. So actually we do want to, so if you didn't need to return anything, you would use execute non-query. But we are going to be returning stuff, so we are gonna do order dot ID equals long. I'm gonna execute scalar. And then this will return order. Let's just return that object back. So now when we create the order, we first need to create the order. Now we need to create all the services, or now we need to associate the order with the services. So now let's go into our, what do we have here? Our service repository. Well, we'll take care of this. Is it an order? Let's do services. So let's go into our service data layer, and we'll create a function here called public static. Let's do void. Associate order to services, and this will take in a order ID, and it will take in a list of service ID. Service IDs. And what this will do, go here, is insert into services. What it was, just name it. Oh wait, no, into order services. Order ID and service ID. Values. Services. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'm going to do a little trick. So I'm going to do list string values equals new list. And I'm going to do for each service ID in service IDs, values.add values.add order ID and service ID. Now here I'm going to do SQL equals SQL.replace services So now what this is going to do is, let's say we have 3 service IDs that belong to this order ID. It's going to do essentially this. It's going to create a list of, of this. Order ID 1, 1, 1, and service ID 1, 2, 3. It's going to create me a list like this, and it's going to replace this. Well, it's going to replace this hash services with this. So it's all in one insert query. So this is where we're generating that list, and this is where we're combining that list and making it like adding the comma and stuff. like these commas, like joining the list together. And then this is where we're replacing it. Anyway, so here we can do, we'll open up the connection. Here we can execute command execute non-query. So we don't want anything in return. Here I know that we're using error log. Yeah, so now we've created our services. So let's do service repository dot. We got a. So we created the service DAL. We got to go into repositories. Just copy this guy. Service repository. Return void. Yep. Okay, so now we can actually use this. This isn't returning anything. So now we can use order.id since we've associated that up here. Let's pass in this services list. And now this is expecting us to return an order, so we can either give it back this order or we can fetch the order from the database. Which we should, because then it'll have actually, yeah, no, we can get this order and associate services with it. So order equals associate services with orders, new list orders. Return order. So now we should be able to create orders into our database. So here you'll see that we have 3 orders. So let's go ahead and go into order services. Name this John Doe. Let's do the service date for the 30th, and we want to give him a cleanup and tree trimming. Actually, let's do all 3. And price, we'll need to make this show dynamically later on. And I don't know what this none is. Anyway, we'll need to revisit this later. But and then create. And so I just reloaded. So we'll need to address this. That's fine. But let's go into our database and execute this. So it didn't create. Why did it not create? Let's go over here and just refresh our page. Clean this up a bit. 30th. Let's do all 3. Let's go into our query here. or our code to see what's going on. So now let's trigger this. Should assign it an ID. Nope. So it's failing to create the order, as we can see. So why is it failing to create the order? Incorrect integer value ordered by. It's because it needs. I'm passing in the user object instead of passing in the ID. Yep, that will do it. Ordered by. Orders, John Doe, 30th. Let's pick all three. Create. Just step through this, F10. Still did not create an ID. F11, F10, F11, F10, F10, F10. Let's go all the way to our exception. Specified cast is not valid. Let's go back here. 10 of 10. Last insert ID. Oh. So it really is just having trouble parsing it. So we can do a try parse here. Anyway, what this just did is it inserted new order. So let's just delete that order from the database real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay. So here we will want to do object O equals that, and then we'll do long try parse O, and then we'll do out order ID. Yeah. It only allows you to parse a string and an object. Okay. All right. See if that works. Should. John Doe. F11, F10, F11, F10, 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 F10. All right, cool. Now it's going to return out of all this. So now you can see that our order has an ID of 8. It's going to associate the order services. Should have probably stepped into that to validate, but we can do that real quick in the database here. Order services. So we just created an order 8. Let's just make sure. Yep. We have the 3 services associated to it. Now this populated our services. These are 3 services, and it returns the order. But we're not doing anything with it. So there you go. So we're reading and we're inserting. Now the same thing would apply for updating. You would just run execute non-scalar or execute non-query, or you would run execute scalar to get the last ID, the last inserted ID like this. Why this is happening? Let's just try and figure that out real quick in case you guys have that problem in your stuff. So let's go order services. What is this? This is visible. This none is visible if the count is greater than 0. This is backwards. It's less than or equal to 0. Do none for no services. Okay, so service list. So where are we binding service list? Right here. Okay. Yeah, so if we're gonna do this, we need to clear order service list that items that clear. Now that shouldn't happen. The reason is because every time that the page refreshed, it would keep adding the same services over and over. Oh, by the way, order count is now 4. And here we can see our new order of $370. But anyway, now it's showing one. It was showing all of them. It was repeating them because every time that the page refreshed, it would just keep adding it without actually clearing this list first. So now you'll see that it didn't add any more. But I don't know why it's showing one now. Let's see. Oh, my bad. It's because I put it in the wrong spot. So every time it was going through the loop, it kept on erasing the last one that it did and then adding a new one. So we want to add that here. Value cannot be null. Is what it called. So let's go into our models. What the heck? There it is. Order. Let's create a constructor and do services equals new list of service. That way, when it gets created, at least it'll have a new list because it's okay if it has null. Or it's okay if it doesn't have any. Okay. So here's our bogus order. Here's this all fixed up. Let's do John Smith. Order it for the 3rd of July. Just clean up and tree trimming. I don't know why this is still showing up. Create. Cool. We might want to add like a little pop-up like, hey, successful. Like maybe show a label once it's successful. Dashboard. Let's go back to our dashboard and check this out. So we're having trouble creating services, associated services. So let's go here. Yep, we haven't created an order service since order 8. So let's see. Right here. Create. So we have an order 11, 0 services. Let's step into the association of, oh, okay. Well, that's our problem. It's way before this. There's no services being passed in. Let's do this. Service selected. So it looks like none of them are selected. So let's go up here. Going to order services. Stop that. I think that this is happening because if page dot is post back. This is going to do it all in the initial load. Let's create something. Ship today. See what's going on now. There we go. The view state was lost. So that's why that was happening. Now we'll continue. Let's go to the dashboard. And you can see here that we finally created our order with services. Jane Smith. Let's give her 9th of July. Just clean up and mowing. Create. So many breakpoints. Just skip them. Okay, so supposedly we just created it. Here we go, Jane Smith with mowing and cleanup. And then for this delete, what we would do is we would just run a delete command. First, you would want to delete the order service because there's a foreign key to it. And then you'll want to delete the order. So let's see if we can figure that out real quick. I'm going to stop this, go back into our order DAL. Let's add it right here. Public static. Just do void for now. Delete order. Really, all we need is just the order ID. Let's copy all this. Delete from orders where ID equals order ID. Delete all this. Parameterize this, and then tell it what order ID we want to get rid of. And then command.execute non-query and return. Yeah, we can at least turn a Boolean. Turn false. Turn true. So delete order. And then we also want to delete the services associated to that order. Public static void bool delete order services for long order ID. Copy, paste. Order services where order ID equals order ID. And then command up parameters with, and then at order ID. Into our repositories. This. Copy this. Here. So now when we delete an order, um, when we delete an order, we want to call delete the order services and then delete the order. Okay. Let's go to our dashboard. On row deleting. So now we want to replace our mock data with an actual row deletion. So wait. Why? Oh, my bad. It's to go into interface. Now it's available. Okay, so now we're going to be able to delete all this garbage data from our database through our application. Yep. So right now you don't see it, but it's actually deleting it from the background. At least it should be. Yeah, it's just not refreshing. Set page data, bind orders. So we can actually put this table inside of a inside of an update panel. Unless it's already there. Nope, it's not. Okay, so let's throw this under an update panel. I think that'll be nice. I hate formatting. Bring this one back. Okay, and then we need script manager. Will that refresh? I think we might have to call update to get it to refresh, but I can't remember. Yep, we got back to our dashboard, and then update panel 1, update. Okay, let's delete John Smith. Still not updating, are ya? Okay. Why is this not triggering a post back? This should be triggering a post back. So I was expecting when you click delete to trigger a post back so we don't have to use an update panel. I mean, an update panel is nice. But I'm not sure why it's not triggering a post back. Okay. John Smith, number 12. Let's delete it. Why did you not? Delete the order. Oh. Well, so the reason, so it should be updating. So like the update panel is pretty nice, but I am gonna remove it because that wasn't my intention. But if you do implement an update panel, then good for you. Um, but so the reason why is because it never refreshed because it kept on loading when it binds the order details grid. It binds it off of the view state of the orders, but the view state of the orders, once it's set on the page load, it never changes. So here, when it's deleted, we need to reset the view state of the order. So just gonna copy this, put it right here. So when you delete, it'll delete. It'll get the orders again, and it'll rebind everything. So now it'll work. So let's delete this John Doe number 8. And there you go. So we just deleted that. You'll see here in our order services, this guy's going to be gone. So let's just refresh that. Show you guys that ID order 8 is gone, no longer there. Let's go back to our orders. You'll see here that there is no order 8. And so yeah, and so like the same thing would be done for create service. You know, you would insert and then you would rebind the services that are available here, and then that will that should allow you to create orders with a new service. So anyway, I hope this helped. I hope that you guys learned something out of it, and hit like if you liked the video, and subscribe as well. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.